Hey everybody, Alex and Jessica here. We are coming to you through a video because I am currently right now on my way to Ohio for the Church Planners Assessment Center. So I can't be here to talk this morning, and I'm sure Jessica is walking out of the sanctuary right now because she doesn't want to watch herself talk. So Jessica.
All right. We are here and we want to give a video to you guys. We wanted to do this before I moved to phase 3.5, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what everything is going to look like with kids ministry. During the COVID-19 shutdown, we took that as an opportunity to just pray and reevaluate what Kidstown looks like and what our family ministry looks like and where we want to go with it. And so our video today is going to be sharing that with you and bringing you into it. And we're going to talk about kids ministry in general and then how that applies to the kids at Middle Cross. And then we are going to get into the nitty-gritty of what Kidstown is going to look like starting on October 4th.
Before we talk about October 4th, though, I'm going to take a moment here in Babytown to share a few scriptural insights that are framing some of the things that we're going to be doing in children's ministry and family ministry going forward. So the first verse I want to share is Psalm 127:3. Children are a gift from the Lord; they are a reward from Him. Gifts imply a transfer of ownership, right? I own something, and then when I give it to you, now it's yours to have. And so if children are a gift, then that means that originally they were God's. And then in order to understand Him giving it to us, it's sort of Him seeing that we are worthy as parents to be able to care for this child, that He desires for us to have the responsibility to steward this human being that He created. Those of us who are parents, God sees that we have what it takes to be able to care for a child. That was not an accident, that you and I, that we are qualified to do this job. The next verse I want to read is Matthew 19:14. But Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me. Don't stop them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to those who are like these children." The most important thing to notice here is kids have access to Jesus. All the kids in our church, they are able to engage and have a relationship with Jesus. Not that they're not old enough yet. Currently, where they are, kids, you can have a relationship with Jesus. And not only that, but we can actually learn from them about how to have a relationship with Jesus. Jesus didn't take time out of His work to spend time with the kids. Like, oh, we got to stop to go do this. No, loving kids was Jesus' work. The third verse is Matthew 18, verses 5 and 6. And anyone who welcomes a little child like this on my behalf is welcoming me. But if you cause one of these little ones who trust in me to fall into sin, it would be better to have a large millstone tied around your neck and be drowned in the depths of the sea. Jesus is making it clear. Teaching kids is a really big deal. Something that we need to take very seriously. It matters a whole big deal to God. And so this idea of training and loving kids, we should take it very seriously as well. And last is Deuteronomy 6, verses 4 to 9. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength. These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. And here it is. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the door frames of your houses and on your gates. The most important commandment is that we would know God and that we would love Him with all of our beings. And then we're commanded that not only should we know God and love Him, we also need to teach these to our kids. And the way that they learn is by them happening and them being discussed and talked about in our homes. Parents, we have the first and foremost responsibility to teach our kids about who God is and what it's like to love Him with all of our beings. And to do that in our homes all the time, regularly, when we're eating, when we're lying down, when we're getting up. It's our job to teach and model and explain to our kids all of these pieces. But this passage, this commandment, was to all of Israel, right? So it's the whole community. So first and foremost, it's happening in the home. So parents, it's our responsibility. But really, it's all of our responsibility, all of us, Middle Cross. For all of these kids that make up that are part of our community, we all have a role to play in teaching them about God and what it means to love Him.
So we obviously have a very big job with discipling these kids. We know that, as Alex shared, Jesus takes this very seriously, and so should we. And we believe that if we are going to see kids grow to love and follow Jesus, then the biggest burden of discipleship is really on the parents. The parents need to be in the driver's seat, and all of the meat of their discipleship is happening in their home. And so our goal at Middle Cross is to come alongside and to provide support and tools and a game plan in order to help you do this. This is an ongoing conversation that we're having as a Kids Town leadership team, and this vision is ever expanding, and we hope to continue to bring you guys in and keep you updated.
So, to give you just a little peek into the game plan that we have built right now, like Jessica said, it is expanding, but what we have right now is that we want to help our kids belong, believe, and bring. That makes sense. But specifically, we want to help as a body, we want to help disciple our kids through these different stages as their development mentally grows. Well, we want to help them. And so for belonging, man, we think that kids from babies, little tiny Evelyn, all the way up to 3-year-olds in toddler town, our goal as parents, our goal as the church is that we should just be trying to cultivate belonging for these kids. That looks like us as parents, that we're supporting one another with messages like, man, that we just got to love and serve our kids, and we got this, and God has not made a mistake, and we can't mess it up. We just want to love our kids. For our whole church family, man, that means just picking up, holding babies, letting the little kids, welcoming them where they're at as they're running around, so that they know, yeah, this family, God's family, is a place where they belong. And kids that are 4 years old through up through 5th grade, elementary school age, that we're looking at downtown, crosstown, capital city. And we want to help these kids believe. We want to help shape their beliefs as their minds start to capture this thing that is God and being a Christian and following. Man, how can we help shape their beliefs? This looks like all of us being really intentional to pursue these kids and to offer what we have to offer. All of us in the church, we have something to offer. And for parents, man, that means that we have to model the gospel. We have to explain the gospel over and over and over to our kids. And finally, man, teenagers, 6th grade through 12th grade until they're launched out into the world, what does it look like for us to help them bring good news? First of all, we have to believe that teenagers, you have good news to bring. You have things to bring in the world. Us as parents, man, we got to maintain that relationship, but continue as well to call our kids up into the greatness that God has built for them and placed inside of them. And that means all of us, church, we have to have a relationship with these teenagers, and we have to create context to say, yeah, you have something to offer to the whole church and to the whole world, and to call them into the good news they have to bring. With that being our overarching game plan, we want to take a couple moments and say the one way, starting October 4th, that we want to implement this game plan is on Sunday mornings in phase 3.5. So we're going to go through and explain a little bit about what it looks like starting October 4th.
Okay, so where are our kids going to be on Sunday mornings? That is the question. And I want to highlight 3 different sets of times. First one is the worship service, 9:30 to 10:30. And in that hour, at the very beginning, kids 4 and younger are going to be welcomed back into baby town and toddler town. And like Alex said before, they're just going to have a time of playing and being cared for and just experience belonging with their peers and with the adult volunteers in those rooms. And as for the kiddos who are 5 and older, they're actually going to be joining us during this time in our worship service. And that is a shift from how we've done things before. And the reason why we want to do it this way is because of what Alex said, of these kids building their belief. They're just getting to know who Jesus is. They're asking questions, and their faith is really starting to take some root and get going. And so we really want them to be in with us to see us model corporate worship and prayer for them. They need to see it modeled by their parents and the other adults in their church body. They also need to know that they have a place in our church family. They aren't just kids who go back for childcare during church. They are a part of us, and I think it's a really good reminder for us adults too to remember we have kids in our family, we have kids in our body, and there is no junior Holy Spirit. and we have a responsibility to come alongside them and disciple them, even in the most minuscule ways. So we are excited to welcome them during this time. And our teenagers are also going to be with us, and because they need to be encouraged and challenged right along with us as well.
The second time that we're going to be looking at is during that currently maybe approximate 40 minutes of spiritual formation time. So after the hour worship service, there's going to be now a 10-minute break where we get to make a bit of a transition. Anyone who needs to leave that time, we're going to honor. You are welcome to leave at that time. And then all the kids, ages 5th grade and down, are going to transition to their own spiritual formation time that's age-specific for them. Partly to give us space as well, but so that they can be discipled intentionally in their own conversations with their own peers. So Baby Town, Toddler Town is going to keep doing their belong thing, but those who are going to be shaping their beliefs, downtown, that's ages 4 and 5, and downtown are going to go, and there's going to be a teacher there for them. 1st to 3rd grade is going to be uptown, and they're going to go get intentional teaching there. Crosstown, uptown, downtown, uptown, crosstown. And then the 4th to 5th grade is going to go to Capital City for intentional spiritual formation for themselves as well. As we adults and teenagers together, we get to experience spiritual formation together. And it's really important that the teenagers are with us in this, because teenagers will never know that they have good news to bring unless we treat them as if they have good news to bring to us. And so to invite them to be at the table with us is an important, crucial part of their development as well. So yeah, hey teenagers who are watching this video right now, you have something to offer all of us in this room right now. And so you need to be a part of this table with us. With that being said, the other way that teenagers that you can bring good news in this time is, guess what? You can go and teach those kids. You could serve in downtown, in crosstown, in Capital City, and teach those kids, because guess what? You have something to offer in their spiritual formation as well.
And the last thing, set of time we want to highlight is before and after service. Yes, none of this is going to stop, nor should it stop, just because we are in a more informal setting. And so if you are not a Kids Town volunteer or a parent, this is a really fun way that you can connect with the kiddos. They're running around like crazy, they're playing, and it's just a really good way to try and connect and engage with them, even if it is just asking how they are, how their week went. Our kids need to know that the adults around them care for them, and everyone has a role to play in these kids' lives, even if it's very small. So I think that's all we have to say. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to either of us, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. And of course, after service today, we have a meeting for Kids Town parents and volunteers, and we can flesh this out further, and that would be a good place to ask questions.
Kids Town, Kids Town. Kids Town, Kids Town.